What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Garage Talks 5417 podcast. As you know, I'm your host, Desmond Reynolds, aka the Peacekeeper. I'm sitting here with a great guest today, a wise man. I call him a journeyman because he ain't scared to take risk. You know, taking risk in life, that's a key thing. And just a person so smart and just going to do huge things in life. And I'm so honored to have this guest here today, my guy, Tryston Wolf.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me, bro.
Anytime, my guy.
How's it going?
Man, I was going to ask you, man. It's going great,
it,
you know. I'm sitting here with you, so I'm chilling, man.
Yeah, man. I'm blessed. I just want to say, man, thanks for having me. Happy for you. This is a great setup. You got a great team, man.
Thank you, man.
This is great. Great things coming.
Thank
you.
They
are.
Well, you're a part of it now, so
absolutely.
I guess we can get into it, T.
Let's go, man. Let's get into it.
How's life been, man? How's everything been up late?
Good, man. Actually, today I got good news, man. I got approved to go to lineman school up in Astoria. So as of the first week of April, man, I'll be up there 10 weeks and just grinding, getting it started, man. New thing, new career.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, bro.
So you're gonna be a lineman. So you're gonna be like up in the power poles.
Yes, sir. Climbing up those and fixing that. There's a lot of different things you can do with it.
Right.
But I'm probably leaning towards like utilities. So, yeah, I'm working for something like youbg or like just any people utility district. Yeah, man.
That's huge news. And you just got this news today?
Today, bro. Got the email, put on my deposit.
Yeah. What's up? Man, let's go, man. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, we good tonight. We good.
Good.
We good, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, you and I met at work. I thought that was cool. What, about 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, I think a little longer. I think I started in 21.
Was it 21?
Yeah, I think it was July 21, man.
Okay.
So it's about 3 years yeah.
Yeah. I knew from jump, just meeting you, like, I was like, oh, he a real one. He down to earth. I mean, even one of my team members, Kevin, was like, oh, you're going to have some good stuff to say tonight.
Yeah.
Where does that come from for Tryston? Like, I feel like you carry yourself with that kind of thing.
I think it just comes from being young and noticing those things, you know, not having like the greatest circumstances, you know, no pops, growing up poor, single mother. And kind of just picking up on things. I guess one thing I say is like, we're just children that are grown up.
Yeah.
And so children notice things, children think, children realize, and I think I've just carried that with me my entire life. And, I mean, it's a blessing and a curse. Sometimes you feel like the crazy one in the room, depending on the context. But I guess I'd say I'm happy to be able to see that light.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, I just could tell meeting you, you read, I call them omens. You read your omens, your signs, you know, and we all got a chance to capitalize on that. I mean, growing up, so you said single mother, you're from Newport, which is my favorite coastal town. That's another reason why I got love for you, man. How was it living coastally, man?
Dude, it's beautiful. Gave me a big appreciation for just nature in general. I mean, you're depending on where I lived at the time, you know, 5 minutes from the ocean, 5 minutes from the woods, from the forest. And so it's just like, in my opinion, the most beautiful sunsets. You know, anytime you got a noisy mind, you can turn to the waves. You know, it can be noisy with you. You can find peace in it. It's just, it was a blessing, man, to say the least, especially in the time I was walking around the city, just like every day, out in the sun, out in the rain. Didn't matter. A lot of rain. A lot of rain.
More than around here in Springfield, Eugene?
Man. Oh, yeah. Damn. I remember coming here and someone was like, it's pouring outside. And I was like, man, like, y'all haven't seen rain.
You haven't seen rain.
Nah, because it rained sideways there. Windy, just boom, windows bending. You can just hear the wind, man. Yeah, beautiful, though. I mean, I love the rain still, so... Yeah, man, it's great.
That's huge, man. That's what's up, bro. Yeah. That's huge. I remember when we was having coffee, too, just about you growing up. You said your mom had you when she was young.
Yeah, man, 16.
16.
I can't imagine that. Man. 23 now, and I'm still like, I don't even know if that's in the cards. So 16, just...
I can imagine it either, man.
Yeah, man. It's definitely different. You know, it's kind of like, one thing I think about is... I kind of grew up with her. You know what I mean? It's like from the time I was born, 16, when I was 10, she was only 26.
Right.
So it's like, I'm 23, I'm 3 years away from that. And it's like, I'm still figuring stuff out, still learning, still growing. So it's like, man, have to take that on, and then, yeah, man, it just feels like kind of I grew with her in that sense. Yeah, man.
And that's huge. I mean, do you think that kind of helped with your character building then? Just like, hey, I'm growing with moms right now.
Yeah, because I think it kind of put a lot of pressure on me. Not even pressure per se, but kind of just the reality of it was when you're growing with somebody who probably hasn't found their place in the world yet, like it's more up to you to kind of find yours versus them kind of guiding you towards a direction.
Straight up.
Whether that be just like what to do with your life in a career, whether that be what's wrong and what's right.
Right.
Whether that be, you know, the decisions you make and that you got to live with.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of getting used to that. And I mean, like I said, it's a blessing and a curse. I feel like a lot of my life has been great, not perfect, but I mean, I'm thankful for what I got.
Hey, that's what it's about, though. Blessing and curses, man, and what you do with them, you know.
Yes,
that's huge. I mean, moms took care of you. I just meeting you, I just knew from jump. I was like, you're a real one. So,
yeah, man, I appreciate that.
Hey, anytime, man, anytime. Yeah, I know. Even my parents had me when they were 24.
Yeah,
25.
That's just kind of young.
Yeah, still kind of young, and they same thing. They're like, it's crazy, man. I was one and done. They had me and called it good.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, I got a sister and a younger brother. So
okay.
Yeah, sister 16, my brother's 4.
Oh wow.
It's different. Man.
Yeah.
Another kid? Come on, cat. Stop at 2, maybe.
Man, you was blessed with that seafood too out there, man. I can't get enough of pancakes, man.
Just anything, man. All the seafood, dude. Again, Dungeness crab, cod, halibut. Just, I mean, it's just fresh. I mean, I could walk down to the fish market and I can buy something straight off a boat. They'll fillet in front of me right there. They got it this morning. They got it last night. They rolled in at 3 in the morning, and it's delicious, man. I love it.
You blessed, man.
Yeah.
You blessed, bro.
No, absolutely.
I be spending money out there when I go. I'm like a tourist. Here you go.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, man. How
great.
I gotta ask. I always wonder how clutch was it to be able just to go to the coast anytime. Like say you're having a hard day or just you need to get away. Was that a blessing there to just be able to walk the beach whenever you wanted?
Yeah, man. The beach. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's just there's something about the ocean, and I think it's because like depending on what you how you approach life and what you believe, it's like
let me know.
It's like we come from it. We have the same content of salt in our blood as the ocean does with its water. I think identical. And so
really,
I just think there's something about it, man. I mean, the tide from the moon, the breeze, it's cold. I mean, yeah, I mean, it just takes you somewhere different. It's like, and it makes you feel small, which we all need sometimes. Like your problems feel like this big cloud, weight, whatever it may be. And then you kind of realize like, man, like how much is out there? Look at all these people enjoying their lives here. And it's like, how I guess in the moment, how miserable can I be when all this beauty's around me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so just
perspective
and approaching it and just surrendering whatever situation you're in to yourself, to control it and do what you can with it. And then also to acknowledge that, not everything is within your control. Not everything is something that you can change. And I mean, like I said, nature is a big part of that for my life.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Control the controllables, man. It's something I'm really trying to learn.
You grew up around Springfield?
Yeah, I grew up around here, man.
Okay.
So definitely a little more city life for me.
City life.
It took me a lot to realize nature though was so healing.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my team members actually just got me like grounding. You familiar with grounding?
Yeah, yeah. It was bare feet on the grass.
Bare feet.
Yeah, just charging into the earth. Man.
Yeah. Charging in. Like, but for example, like I realized going to the coast, going out for hikes, getting into nature, that was the best feeling. Instead of going out to get drinks or just whatever it was, distracted on a video game, which I mean, still shout out to video games.
Shout out.
When days are hard, it's like, bro, you got to get to nature because it's just healing. So,
it is, absolutely, man.
It's I always get a little jelly that you grew up at the coast. Like I'm like, these coast people, man, they're blessed, bro. Y'all blessed.
I know the first time I moved here, I moved into an apartment in Eugene, and I didn't realize how much direction the ocean gave me. So it's like I just know west is there. I know the sunset's there. I know where north, south, east is at.
Dope.
And so like getting here and living kind of landlocked, I
Yeah.
was like confused. Like I
Okay,
was like I
okay.
didn't know, and it kind of unsettled me a little bit. Like
Did it?
yeah, I was like, man, like this doesn't feel normal. I had to be outside like watching the sunset. Like all right, there's west, and
Okay.
you would think something like that's not a big deal, but when you're so used to it,
Yeah.
as
straight up.
you're you kind of rely on it and are appreciative of it,
Yeah.
it kind of feels like a little bit like a rat in a cage. Not in a bad way to diss the city or anything, but that's just
Sure.
the way it felt. Yeah,
I
Straight
feel
up.
it sometimes, brother. Be trying to climb out, man.
Yeah,
I'm like, shoot,
it's hard.
jump out to your guys' city, man.
For real.
Chill.
I love going back. Gave me a new appreciation for it for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
Kind of going back, you caught my attention when you said the salt.
Mhm.
Our bodies have the same salt as
Mhm.
the ocean. We're made out of water too,
Yep,
pretty much. What,
absolutely.
90% of our body is water, is
Yeah,
it?
high percentage.
And I feel like I always looked at it, T, like you look at a dam,
Yeah.
it's producing electricity through
Mhm.
the water. It's like, yo, man, there's some kind of correlation, don't you think, there with us going close to the
Mhm.
ocean and things like that?
Not even just the ocean, but like you said, just water in general. I think it's
River,
just something. There's just something about it that is so natural and so inherent to us. So just you grow from it, we drink from it, we rely on it. I mean, it's just like for me, there's nothing as calming as water.
Man,
No matter what form it's in, whether that be snow. There's something always beautiful about snow.
yeah, straight up.
Just a calm lake, being able to throw something in there and watch the ripples, be in the ripple in the lake.
Mhm.
I mean, watching the ocean. I mean, I've seen some crazy waves. I don't know. A little bit north, Depot Bay, they have something called the king tide,
Okay.
and it comes like once a year, once every few years. If
Why is it
I'm
the
not
king
mistaken,
tide?
because it's giant waves, man. It comes up over into the streets,
Oh, what?
like just huge.
Here in Oregon.
Here in Oregon, man.
Okay.
You should look it up next time it comes. But just
sure.
it's just I think there's something in all of us that can kind of relate to that, whether that be the fury of the ocean, the
Mhm.
calmness of it, just whatever. I think it's a reflection of ourselves to some extent.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. One thing I noticed with you is the simple things.
Yes.
How important is the simple things to you, or what would you tell somebody to recognize with the simple things of life?
Man, I can't stress how important it is to at least try, like you said, to recognize it.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I can't even front like I'm always this like clear-minded, appreciative. Like I get pessimistic, I get upset.
Yeah.
Everyone does.
Right. Straight up.
But I mean, simple is if you can find happiness, simple, that's key. There's a quote I believe by Socrates, and it's the man with the most is not, or it's the man who is rich doesn't have the most. It's the man who is content with the least. As long as you can find happiness in the little things, and even just build from there. If it's a bed on the floor, getting a box spring. If it's you're sleeping with sheets, getting a blanket. I mean, just simple things like that, man. And if you can find appreciation in that, and you can find gold in that, like, I mean, anything up is better, so to speak. But
Straight up.
I mean, just having the least and being content with that, man, then you're the richest. That's the way I try and approach it, and it's not always easy, that's for sure, but it's worth trying.
That's why I say, man, every day, even on my Instagram, when you wake up for another day, it's a blessing. Like you have a chance at life. And,
True.
And it's so simple because you get in this routine of, hey, here we go, another day of work. Here we go, another day of this. No, you really got life again. Like either someone didn't wake up or somebody can't get out of bed. They need help. And it's like, it's the simple things.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught in that loop when everything seems mundane and everything seems familiar. It's like, all right, I know I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to drive to this place. I'm going to do this. You can't predict every interaction you're going to have, but you get a general sense of it. Whether someone's upset, whether someone's happy with you, and you drive home, do it all again tomorrow. And so it's really easy to get kind of caught in that loop of like, what is exciting? What's different like in my life? And some people need excitement. Some people need something different. But I mean, the faster you can or the more you can kind of just appreciate the fact that you like you said, you get life. Like you get to
Yes.
wake up in the morning, you get to walk outside, I mean, sooner you can get that, the closer you're getting, I think, to what people would describe as happiness.
It's happiness.
Yeah.
What fills your cup then? Just that? Does that's it, or is there more to it for what fills your cup?
Yeah, I mean, there's more, man. In terms of like, I guess things that you got to spend money on and really find. I love traveling.
Okay, yes, you
Um,
do.
I love snowboarding. You got to spend money on that. That's still nature, though.
You're still out there.
But yeah, I mean, what fills my cup really, man, is just knowing that I love, that I can be loved, that like you said, I'm awake, I breathe, I'm able, I can walk, I can run.
You're present, man.
I'm present.
You're present. That's what's huge.
Yes, the people I love, same thing with them. Everyone's able, everyone can walk, they can breathe. And so, man, like anytime there's anything, a roadblock, anything bad, it's just like try and recognize that it's temporary.
Straight up.
And while you're alive, life is permanent. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes. Like as long as you're here, your life is permanent. We're in a constant now.
Got you.
There's no tomorrow right now. There's no yesterday right now. Worrying about tomorrow isn't gonna change it.
Mhm.
Worrying about yesterday isn't gonna change it.
Oh,
It's just
talk that, man.
constant.
Straight up.
You're alive forever.
Forever.
And until you're not. But while you are, you are.
That's facts. That's deep. That's a bar right there. See, that's a bar. Speaking of that, man, I see you brought your book.
Yes, sir.
I see that. We have to touch on it.
Let's do it.
What book is this again, man?
All right, man. It's called I Don't Want to Grow Up. Scott Stillman.
What's the premise on that?
So, right here it says life, liberty, and happiness without a career. And I really bought this because I was kind of in a slump. I took up a job that I wasn't necessarily happy with, and I was kind of trying to figure out. I was like, man, I really thought that this would kind of get me on the road to where I want to be. And, I was just
after you left the job working with me.
after
I got you.
so I went to insurance, and that just really wasn't it.
You were like,
environment, the job itself, it just wasn't it.
Straight up.
So I was like, man, I was driving to work every day, no music, just hearing the hum of the road.
Ooh.
And I live in Cottage Grove, so it's like a 25-30 minute drive depending on the traffic, and just the hum of the road. And just every day, man, I was just what is it right now that is just I'm not happy with?
Gotcha.
What is it that I actually want to get to? What is it? Like, just what is it? And eventually my lady, shout out, she started looking around. She found this. She actually picked it up herself, read it. She's like, I think you should read this. And essentially, man, it's about just kind of finding what you actually want in life versus kind of like what it will take to get there. Because we can get caught up very easily. What do I want? Well, I mean, like I can't even start with what I want if I don't have the means to get there.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So you're constantly in that loop of like if you're unhappy with where you're at, well, I gotta keep working because eventually I'm gonna get there. And I do got a page saved, so let me just see on it right here. All right, so it goes. We need intention. We need goals. Otherwise, we sort of just sleepwalk through life. What's important is to realize that a goal can be anything. One goal might become a CEO of a large corporation, make a certain amount of money, reach a certain level of status. Whatever the goal, it's essential that we know why, to be as important as what. Why do you want to be CEO? Why do you want to earn a specific amount of money or reach a level of sadness? Why? Sometimes the why is completely unrelated to the what. Let's say you want to earn a certain amount of money so you can travel. Well, travel is your desire, so why not make travel the goal? More important details. Where do you want to travel? For how long? For weeks? For months? Full time? What do you want your life to look like? Start there. When you start focusing on the life you want rather than what you think it will take to get there, then you're on the right track.
Drop the mic.
I mean, yeah, man, it's just simple things like that.
Wow.
It's just, and then I never even had that concept in my mind. I mean, we live in a capitalist society. I'm not, I am a capitalist myself, but it's just like you can get so caught up in the bottom line.
Straight up.
And then, you get eventually you get there and you look back and you're like, man, this isn't what I wanted.
This isn't what I want.
Yeah.
T, real quick, break down capitalist for people. There might be someone that listens to this and not exactly know what that means.
I mean, essentially, it's just a free market. You know, you work for money versus, you know, I mean, the opposite would be communism, in which the government distributes money to its people, oftentimes through the collection of taxes.
Okay.
So, I mean, I do believe in a free market. I believe in people being able to work their way up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, but living in that society, it can be difficult to kind of appreciate what isn't something that can be bought. For example, if you want peace, if you want travel, I mean, travel really is just experience. Yes, you can buy experience, but I mean, I can't go to the store, put down a 20, but give me a good experience. You know what I mean? And if the experience is what I want,
if they rolled it right, maybe. I'm sorry.
20 on red.
my bad.
Pretty, but if experience is the goal, I mean, like, you know, make that the goal. You don't need the X amount to get there. If you're willing to just get there with, you know, maybe a little less.
And I'm gonna jump in with you. It's crazy. I'm reading a book and they're almost saying the author's almost saying the same thing. He said, have passion in your life. He said look around, and I took his advice, and see how many people are really living with passion.
Almost none.
Almost none, right?
Almost none.
I mean, you were telling me at coffee, you said you look around and you were questioning, like, is this person really wanting to be here? And most of them were no. And it's crazy that your book says that, my book says same thing. Live with passion. What do you love to do? What makes your heart beat? What makes you say, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get up at 5 a.m. and work until midnight the next night. And I have no repercussions. I'm not mad about it, you know? Because right now, a lot of people, and it's just to realize, like, a lot of people get up, don't want to get out of bed because they're not doing what they love.
Yeah. I've been there, man. So I feel them. And it's hard to break that cycle. It's hard to take the time to even sit back and really ponder.
Man.
I mean, how many people wake up 30 minutes before they got to go to work?
Man.
Wake up, work, something you don't like, get home, cook dinner. If you got kids, take care of kids. I mean, like, when do you have that time to actually sit back and really reflect? And yeah, sometimes it's not even your actual external circumstances. Maybe it's something you're doing. Maybe it's something you're not doing. And I mean, that's part of it for me too. It's like, I realized I wasn't doing, you know, the most I could do in a day. Maybe I was relaxing a little bit too much. Maybe I was just, you know, and some days it's fine, but it's just when it's in a consecutive order, you kind of start getting lost in, is it me or is it what I'm in?
Is
you know what I'm saying?
Like, are you saying like the environment that you're in?
The environment, whether that be work, whether that be bills, whether that be, you know, your home.
Okay.
I always think like, you know, it's easy to get behind on things. And so those things pile up and little things start seeming big and big things start seeming like you can't even start to approach them. So it's like taking that time.
It adds up. The little things, for better or worse, blessing or curses.
Exactly.
It's a crazy picture. To go to that, what would you say, let's say I'm a CEO and I come to you and say, Tryston, how do I make this company desirable? How do I make people stay and feel fulfilled? What would your answer be? How would you say, you know what, run the company like this?
From the perspective of an employee, I would say,
and I know money's there, but what else?
I'd say you can't value family enough for people who care about it.
Okay.
You know, there are some people who are fine working, you know, 60, 80 hours a week, whatever. But from the perspective of an employee, I said you can't value family enough, which would kind of result in off time, vacation. I would say just build your structure around your employees rather than the company. It's kind of what I would say. Because if you got the most successful company, but your employees are trash, like how much are they putting into it versus if it's already an oiled machine? Whereas if you put it into your employees, I mean, they feel that fire, they feel that appreciation. So like themselves will put that effort into it
straight up
and build something greater. That's just my opinion.
So take care of the employees, take care of the people,
take care of
the people running the company.
Sir. Take care of them, have them take care of their family, allow them to take care of their family. And that formula doesn't seem like it missed for me.
Straight up. Now I'm gonna ask the hard question, then I'll answer it too with you. You've worked for companies, most of us have in life. Are companies failing the people, those employees? Are they failing right now?
I think if you take a general pool, man, of most Americans, I'd say a lot of people are probably unhappy with the company that they work for. I mean, the reason why, everybody's an individual, everybody makes their own decisions, everybody feels their own reasons. But I mean, I'd say probably. I'd say probably. If I had to guess, yes.
Yes.
Just because, I mean, like you said, how many people are waking up excited to go to work? I mean, and that might be the work that they're doing. That might be the environment they're in. But the bottom line is people aren't really excited to do a lot of the things that they got to do. And there is a way to alleviate that to some degree.
I like that. Yeah, alleviate for sure. Shoot, I'll tell you right now, I might get in trouble for this one. Seeing my company throughout the years where I worked at everything, I've seen the change and it's growing. We might get in trouble, but oh well, you know what? Oh well, we on Garage Talks. They're growing too big for their britches. Yeah. It used to be where big bosses come in, say hi to you, check on you, ask those important questions best they could. Now it's just getting too big where you're just seeing it becoming such a corporation. Yeah. And it got cold in the building. It gets cold. And it's like, man, like I remember back when CEO come in, you need time off. You need to do this or that. It was real personable. Yeah. Kind of those things you were saying. And I heard the stories even before I started working there. And it's like, man, and I'm just using mine for example. Yeah. It's like, man, it gets cold. Yes. And then so people get cold. And you bring in colder people at times. And it's sad, man.
And what I'd say to that, I like the reference of cold because you kind of feel like a cog in a machine. And machines, you know, they don't have any life in them. So that reference of cold, I think, fits well. When you kind of start running things like it's turn it on, turn the dial, get it going, versus kind of like how you said, coming in and bringing that life to it. Bringing that life to it. I mean, if you leave it cold and it's a machine, it'll run on itself. But when it breaks down, I mean, eventually it's your fault.
Straight up.
And it's not. Yeah. So I agree with you 100%.
They got to oil the machine. Take care of it. Absolutely. Show love to it. Yeah. Like a mechanic with an old school car.
No one shows more love than that.
Man, no love, man. Even my grandpa used to be out there on the caddy, man. Jeez. But yeah, I say that with that. I remember with where I work. People know where I work, but I won't say the name, but handing out awards, recognizing individuals, shaking hands, saying, hey, here you go. You earned this. Great job. Just things like that. All that disappear. Yeah. And it's like, for me, sure, I'm going to speak it. Renaissance. I'm like, yo, man, like, what? Yeah. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. I'm watching it in real time happen. Yeah. And it's like, and that kind of where Garage Talks developed as well. I was like, forget that. I want to do something that me and my team can run and run it how we want to.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you that. So is this kind of what you're leaning to do? Like this, you kind of want this? Is this a piece of the puzzle? Is a piece of the project? Or is this kind of the project for the moment?
Man, I'm going to look at you and Spike the Cam. Yes, we're here to stay, man. Okay. We're here to make a change in the world, and we're here to help people. And yes, we want to grow. Yes, we want to be able to go see the world and help different people and be out there, man. So yes, this is a huge piece.
I'm glad to hear that. Man, I'm happy. I'm happy for you, brother. Thanks, I want it to get there. I want to see it. So
thank you.
I'm happy to be a part of it too early on.
Man, it's an honor, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Now I'm going to flip the page because you dropped another word the other day. Let me pull up my iPad. Yeah, we know what corporations and companies, right? Yeah. Let's flip it back on the people. Let's do it. Excuse me if I mispronounce it, world. Don't eat me up for this. But hedonism.
Hedonism. Yeah.
Hedonism. Yeah. You want to explain exactly what that is again?
Yeah, man. Essentially, it's the idea, in my perspective, like specifically to society, it's kind of when the people want to optimize pleasure and minimize pain. Whether that pain be discomfort, whether that pain be challenges, whether that pain be I mean, like something like working out.
Okay.
And people just want to optimize their pleasure. So people kind of push away from things that might be difficult, things that might be challenging, things that they might not be good at to for a more comfortable life.
Gotcha.
Which on the surface, you would think, like, of course we all want more comfortable life. Of course we want things to be easier. There's always that saying of, you want your kids to have a better life than you. You want your kids to have an easier life than you.
Yeah.
And I think that right now, especially in the West, in the United States, we're kind of at that tipping point where that's where the majority of people are living their life, whether that be through numbing difficulty, through drugs and alcohol, whether that be through ignoring like responsibilities, whether that be through not challenging themselves. I mean, it's just like, and I think you see that across the board, and especially people my age, people younger, we're kind of at that point where, I mean, like, we're kind of domesticated in that sense.
Got you.
Where I think we want to optimize the things that we like, and we don't really pay any mind to the things that we might not like but help us grow.
Straight up. So we don't want to, so hedonism, really, you don't want to take that growing pain and use it to grow, to get better, to chase your dreams and aspirations.
Absolutely, man. Is it easier to hit 100 squats, or is it easier to sit on the couch and flip the channel? You know what I mean? And that's a very small example of a very widespread, I think, problem.
Straight up.
Yeah. And there's another thing that I was looking into that ties into that is anti-fragility. And so the way it's kind of described, the way I understood it is like, if you imagine a trampoline and you drop a heavy ball on it, well, when the ball hits it, the trampoline sinks.
Okay.
But when it pops out, the trampoline goes back to the even spot that it was at before. And that's kind of like the simple idea of it. Well, anti-fragility is kind of like, how can we get this trampoline to be stronger? So maybe instead of returning to that even point, maybe it pops out a little bit.
Okay.
Another simple example of that would be like working out with muscles.
Okay.
So,
You're talking to me right here.
Yeah, there you go, man. So you lift weights, and rather than your muscles, when they get fatigued, rather than just returning to the normal state that it was at before the workout, they get stronger, they get larger. And so I've been kind of battling with that idea of anti-fragility in the terms of life, in the terms of, mental stimulation, and kind of like, how do you get to that point to where you go through enough difficult, not necessarily hard, but just difficult things, whether that be through discipline, through hardship, whatever it is. And how do you build that fortitude in your mind? How do you build that strength to endure more and to grow from it? Straight up. And
experience going through it, man. I mean, that's what I tell people. You experience can be the best teacher. It can be, and so many people want to avoid those growing pains. That's just one key. Like, if I had to tell somebody, it's what you're going through. It's how you get through it. How do you navigate through it?
Yes.
Hedonism. Is it that? Is how do we get through it?
Yeah. Do you want to take the easy route? I mean, what is the easy route? It's simple, but do you grow? I mean, I'd argue you don't.
You don't.
The hard route, it's hard, but at least you get something at the other end of it. I guess I just don't want to get through the end of my life, which prayers that is long, it gets to a long point, and then look back and be like, I always did what I wanted. I always had the easy way. I never challenged myself. I never felt any sort of discomfort, whether that be through conversations like this, or people, challenge ideas, or people have different opinions, or whether that be changing the career, whether that be, whatever it is. It's just, I don't want to get to that point and realize I could have done X, Y, and Z, because that's an easy thing to do.
Oh, man.
So easy to do.
They say, I heard this saying, and they say the craziest hell you'll go through is seeing what you could have been at the end of your life.
Jeez.
Oh, could you imagine that?
No.
If you would have pushed a little harder, what you could have been, that's a hell right there that you're stuck in.
And I guess one thing I'll say to kind of combat what we've been talking is like, life doesn't have to be this constant hardship. Like, it's fine to take steps and feel like you're still in place. You know what I mean? Like, straight up, every day you're not going to climb a mountain. Every day you're not going to conquer yourself. But I mean, every day you can try. Every day you can do one little thing, and that's one step better, one step closer. And I mean, it's just the attempt, just getting through it, going through it. And I think that just leads us to better soul, better spirit, better mind, oftentimes a healthier body.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Yeah.
I really do. I agree. It's that extra push, because I've been in the one thing I say on my social media. I know you're not on social media.
Yeah.
But I say don't die in the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like, don't. I've been in it, and sometimes I think I still am at times. I mean, the comfort zone is, as you were just alluding to, the easy way. Here's the paycheck every week, every 2 weeks. Cool. You know, years go by, and you're like, you're stupid. And no knock on people who want to work that job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just ask yourself, like you said when you were driving back to your insurance job, is what do I do to fix this? How do I feel fulfilled?
Absolutely. And I mean, it's hard, and it's hard to look at yourself and be like I said, it's hard to realize that part of it is you. Yeah. If not most of it. And so
it starts with us, ends with us.
Absolutely.
Straight up.
Absolutely.
How speaking of that, I wanted to ask you, how is self-reflecting huge? Like, if somebody, how urgent is it for someone to stop and really self-reflect? How many answers can you get from that?
Urgent? I mean, immediately. I think if you're not reflecting now and you're listening to this, start right now. Start at the end. Start now. Start
right now.
Just start, man. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be this huge thing where you're gonna approach, all the problems in your life, or even the biggest problem.
Straight.
Like I said, the little things add on. Start with the small things. Why are you and your spouse, bickering so easily? Why are things tense at work between you and a coworker? Just it's simple things.
Right.
And you can start there before you start like going to the career, to maybe the living situation, to maybe the vices, the addictions, and things like that. I mean, I can't stress enough how crucial it is.
Straight up.
And it's not like I'm some person who discovered it,
Nah.
We've been doing it for since the beginning of time, but it's like I think we've definitely lost that in our society. We've
taken a moment to just self-reflect.
Yes, self-reflect. And yeah, I mean, how many answers can you get from that? I mean, I would argue almost all of them.
Almost all
of them. I mean, there are always going to be unknown. There's always going to be unanswerables.
Man.
There's always going to be things that maybe you can't address, maybe things you're not ready to address yet. But I mean, to start, you'll get there.
You'll get there. And with this technology world, and it's so, I never want to sound
Yeah, man.
It's going to sound hypocritical because we're sitting on a podcast with cameras, and social medias, and everything.
Yeah.
But world, we promise that it's for the greater good. We promise. Getting into the social media world, comparison is the ultimate thief of joy, of happiness. I really believe that, T. I think if you find yourself looking out your lane and worried about who over there, it steals from that.
Absolutely.
I wanted you to bring up that survey we talked about again at coffee about, what was it, kids?
Yeah. It was a study done. I forgot the name of the school, but they essentially, it was done across multiple districts, I believe within a state, if not multiple states. And it was just asking kids a simple question that we're all asked, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Shoot, I want to be MJ. I did. And what's the answer now?
But the most common answer that was found in that survey is kids want to be an influencer, an online influencer.
Oh, like Instagram or TikTok.
TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is. Content creator, something like that, along those lines.
Straight up.
And I think that's an alarming answer for a number of reasons. First of all, I think it's an alarming answer as a reflection of us. Like, are we not providing our children with enough examples in our society for them to want to aspire to be something tangible, something simple?
Yeah, straight
for
up.
example.
Straight up.
Are we really fabricating and building up this life of influence to an expectation that people might not be able to reach? I mean, if you think about, if you ask let's say 100,000 kids, just to give it a good answer and a good number, excuse me. And let's be generous. Let's say 10,000 of them are successful in that, meaning that they can provide a paycheck to live for themselves, not necessarily that they have, the mega mansion and the yacht as a result from it, but they just can provide for themselves and their family.
Off of influence.
Off of influence.
Straight. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
10,000 of 100,000 can, and that's being generous, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's probably under 2.
It probably is.
That's 90,000 kids that kind of grow up with this expectation that that's something that they can achieve, and maybe they can't. Maybe they fail miserably. And then you think about the aspect of just the real world. Like, we can't run infrastructure on influencer.
No, we need plumbers and electricians.
We need electricians,
doctors.
We need law enforcement. We need military. We need just the simple things. We need people to take out the trash. We need people to just all of it. And so you think of that, and you think of the 90,000 that fail. And let's say that they don't build any other skills going up to that point.
Okay, okay.
And then they're, 25 working a job that they find miserable. They're maybe even younger, and they're still confused. They're still unaware. And failure definitely feels like it's on you most of the time. And then, like, what happens when your outlook, your perspective on life, your expectations of yourself are not met, and it's on you. I mean, a lot of people don't have that fortitude. A lot of people have that hedonistic perspective where it's supposed to be easy. I was supposed to be able to do this. They don't have that mental fortitude. I mean, what happens when you fail? I mean, a lot of the time, people turn to vices, they turn to drugs, they turn to alcohol, they turn to people that they would have been had someone guided them or provided them some sort of structure outside of their cell phone.
So on that, on that, because I think there's literally a system in place for those numbers to be like they are.
Yes.
I think and I usually say more in the general spot, like, I'm like, man, there's a system in place that don't want people to live up to their full potential. What's your perspective on that? What do you think when I say something like this?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that, first of all, if we're going to get from the top down, I think our elected officials, not even just in the United States, but across the world, I think that a lot of societies are designed to divide. And essentially so that people can divide and conquer. It's a very simple aspect of control. And outside of that, like I said, we paint these unrealistic pictures of what can't be achieved.
Yes.
And so it's like when maybe you don't have that $100,000 car, when you don't have that $1 million home, like you said, it's set up to make you feel like you failed. Set up, especially when that's all that's praised. Like, what are the incentives when it's a glamorized life on social media, and the way you get there is likes? It's like, what are you going to do for that? What's the extent you're going to do? Now we have a whole generation of young women who are naked on the internet for money. We have a generation of young men who are in the streets acting a fool.
Doing the OnlyFans.
And then a generation of young men just being,
just reckless.
Menaces. Yeah, reckless. I saw a video the other day on YouTube of a kid who had feces in a bucket with water, and he just went on a train and dumped it on a guy.
You're lying.
No, for real. And and it gets millions of likes.
Millions.
So, like, what Warren Buffett?
Someone gets paid from that.
Someone gets paid. And I believe it's a quote from Warren Buffett, and it's show me the incentives and I'll show you the outcome. If the incentive is a large number of double taps on a screen from somebody thousands of miles away, you don't know anything about this person. You're going to tap into the most, I would say, primal aspects of what we are, which is we're fools, man. We're simple creatures. And so when you do things for entertainment, you're going to get to a certain point to where you're just doing outlandish things for the likes, for the money,
for the views. Yes.
And it's a hard reality, and it's not something that we're actually, I think, addressing the way that we should, especially because we just don't. Social media has been a big thing, I'd say, for the last 10 years, if not 15, because of like MySpace, for example.
Straight
but
up.
The era that we're at now, where it's likes, where it's 5-second videos, swipe, 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 swipe. I mean, how do you get someone's attention in 5 seconds?
Straight up.
You get it by doing the craziest shit.
Craziest things. Straight
and so it's worrisome for me, especially because I'm around that age of people who are doing that. And so it's like, I see that and I'm like, well, I just don't understand.
It's funny the transition for me, T, because like I saw it where posting a picture was like, oh, should I post a picture?
Yeah.
Like it was a big deal. Like, oh, Des put a picture up.
Yeah, OG, IG, man.
Then I've seen it where it continues to go, then okay, maybe a quick little music video. Now it's like it's, if this makes sense, it's mind blowing. You have to post videos now. Yet again, I know we're sitting here on a podcast, but it's mind blowing. Like instead of pictures, people are posting full videos. Oh, that's the post now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's just more and more.
Another thing I'd add is because I grew up without like a cell phone to the way that kids do today. I probably got my first real phone when I was like 13, which I'm thankful for because I had a childhood outside.
Straight up.
I was out in the mud, the rain, the sun. We talked about that a little
Scraping the knees.
Scraping the knees. I got scars on my legs, on my arms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out to you.
Shout out, man. So, I had always thought this growing up is that like kind of towards the turn of Instagram into what it is now. And it's like we used to really put what our lives were in social media. Like you said, post a picture. Hey, I'm out eating. I'm out. This is what I'm doing this weekend. This is what I did.
Okay, yeah.
And so we put our lives on social media. I would argue that at this point now, social media is kind of infiltrating our lives.
Oh,
it's going in the reverse. And you can see that in a very simple way of dialogue. Like how many people I would say I don't have TikTok. I got siblings, I got family who are on it. So I'm kind of kept up with they'll say something like a little saying. I'm like, oh, what's that from? Oh, TikTok. And they'll have full on conversations with phrases from TikTok. They'll have full on dialect, like almost of like TikTok clips of just the hottest things that are trending now. And so I see that and it's like, man, like our phones are really leaking into our lives. And it's like it's no longer us using it. It's that using
us. I was just gonna say that.
And so it's just
that's great.
It's just kind of growing up and realizing that. And I haven't had social media for about a year now. So,
oh wow. Okay.
So it's like I just realized, man, I was scrolling, and I was like
thinking there's going to be an end to it.
There's not. And you always think, and that's why it's designed that way. The infinite scroll, man. That never used to be a thing. You used to have to refresh a page. You know what I'm saying? Google, you scroll down, page 2.
Straight up.
Scroll down, page 3. It's not a thing no more. You just scroll. And it
keeps
and scroll.
going.
And it goes forever. And so, I mean, I just looking at that, it's just like, I kind of realized, like, man, I'm being captured by this thing. Like this is holding me in place like this for sometimes hours. And it's just like, I was like, I'm done. I can't. And it was hard. Don't get me wrong.
It's hard.
It's hard not to just, I don't got it. So it's like, but it's gotten easier. And I'm so glad I started doing it.
So, and I can be with you because I took off social media for 2 years, 3 months, something like that. You always say. Yeah. I was gone. I was away from it.
Yeah.
I was gone. Joe's my witness. Other people, my witness. Because I was on there aimlessly. Coming back on here now, I have a mission. There's a tunnel vision now, but I was aimless before. Taking away 2 years, I said 2 things. Who's going to reach out to me and call me now? Because you can easily see Desmond on the screen and say, oh, Desmond's doing good or bad.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Absolutely, man.
And that's that quick win that we were talking about at coffee.
Win.
Oh, I commented or I hit a like on Desmond's thing.
I checked in. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I did it.
Yeah.
Instead of coming over, seeing me or me go, or here, let's be real, me going to see them. Go see family. Go see whoever.
Or even like still using the tech, like a phone call. A genuine conversation, either on the phone, through long form text messages, things like that. I mean, you don't get that. I mean, I use my phone. My mom calls me. We check in just because I don't live around there anymore. But it's like, other than that, like, I use it to check in on the homies, make some plans, things like that. But it's like, I don't really use it to communicate with people.
Straight up.
And that's kind of what this whole idea was like, oh, people are going to be able to communicate across the world. And sure, plenty of people do use it for that reason. But it's like, we don't.
We
especially as this is like we just don't.
We don't, and that's what I realized. Like it made me be in a way. It made me say, okay, man, now you got to use these hands, use these feet, and go do more. Like I
Yes.
did things, but let's be real, I didn't do enough. I'm gonna just be straight up. Not a lot of us do.
Not a lot.
So deleting that was crucial.
Yeah.
I was where you are now, and I respect that of you.
And yeah, I'm glad I stopped. And like you said, now you have an intent behind it. So like if I ever return, I kind of want intent. If it's not like content creation or whatever it is, just like a reason. And like I found stopping, I thought I had a reason. I want to be on Instagram. You know, it's fun. Like, and now I realize like I have no reason, zero reason to actually be on there and doing that.
I think I know, man. Just looking at you, I think, and just meeting your lady once, I think I know the perfect thing if you got back on.
Yeah, what do you think?
Training animals, training dogs.
I think, dude,
you would kill it.
I love it, dude. I got my girl now, Kuja. Shout out my girl, my lady. Kuja, man, she's in 1 year, 1 month. Cane Corso.
Man,
a lot of
beautiful,
dog,
y'all. Beautiful dog, y'all.
But a lot of dog, man, and I mean I've loved it. It's definitely been challenging, like what we talk about. I find myself getting frustrated. I find myself having to overcome that. Okay. So I mean it's a kind of a double win. I see the progress of, you know, this beautiful creature that I get to love, that loves me, and I mean I love it, man. So I think I'm with you on that. I think that might be like when it's all said and done 10 years from now and I'm kind of done with whatever I got going on next. I think that'll probably be it. Really committed to it.
See, that's honestly, that's where I see your lane. I do. Yeah. Maybe even 5 years. Who knows?
Yeah,
just if you stay
long, whatever.
If you stay true to it, man, just I can see you, man, because those are my favorite pages. Seeing people work with the dogs. I'm such an animal guy.
Yeah.
You know me and Loki.
Loki.
I can see you, bro. Just hey, this is what you do if your dog does this. If your dog's aggressive, how much love you put into it.
Yeah, man. And so but for now, I'm off.
I feel you.
I'm disconnected. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I just what made you stop? Was it the same thing? Scrolling, aimless.
It was, man. It was what made me really just hold up on it was I just wasn't as productive. I wasn't, you know, I had these pockets of my life that I gave to social media and stuff. And I'm not trying to knock it too bad. I think it's a great message in the bottle. I do. Yeah. I think people can get good messages across. But at the same time, there's a life to go live, to be hands-on with, and to find yourself. Because how are you going to find yourself when you're listening and watching everybody else?
Absolutely.
And I had to ask myself that. And so that was the hugest thing, T. I said, I can't keep watching this athlete or this person living their dream when I'm not exactly going towards the dream I want to.
Yeah.
So that's what I had to tell myself.
Yeah. And I agree with you not to knock it. I mean, you can learn a lot from certain people. It's just that most people aren't on it, like you said, for a purpose, for direction.
Straight up.
It's just kind of like to numb the mind, to get through the day.
Straight up. I wanted to get on that. You know I had to get a little personal with you. You stopped the Mary Jane.
Yes, man.
It's done. Can we touch on that?
Let's touch on it.
All right. Yeah. You stopped the Mary Jane.
Stopped it, man. So because I got into line school, I got to stop. I'm going to get my CDLA permit. So I can drive company trucks and stuff like that. So I got to stop.
Congrats.
It's been almost a month. This is my 3rd week, but I'm almost through it.
Shout out.
And yeah, man, I mean, I started young. I was probably smoking weekly at least at like 14.
You a chill cat,
I was chilling. And so, and then like around probably multiple times a week, if not daily, around 17, 18.
Dang, okay.
And then after moving out, once you turn 18, I mean, I have my own place. Me and my lady we all got our own house. And so like, it was a daily thing. It was kind of a habitual.
Straight up.
So,
the feeling, or didn't you say something about the motion?
Yes, man. So, I mean, at first, everyone smoked because of the feeling, you know, you laugh, you giggly, you're let loose. And I still used it for that reasons. But I found when I was trying to quit, because before I even got into the school, I was like, we were like, you know, we smoke. It's not good for our lungs. We kind of get lazy with it, and that's what I noticed towards like the last year or two.
Straight up.
As I was kind of getting content, where I was like, no, I'm just fine. You know, like there's some things I probably could do, maybe not directly result in something, but I could have done it. But it's like, nah, I'm fine. I'm chilling. But it was like we were like, we're trying to stop. Like maybe we should just stop smoking. Like, and I realized, like, man, like I fully missed the feeling of just rolling it up, sparking it, and just this motion.
The whole process there.
The process, man. The fat cloud of smoke in your mouth, the inhale, the exhale, and I just realized, like, man, like I don't even know how, because you build a tolerance to it, right?
Straight up.
So it's like,
so you need more and more.
I wasn't even smoking like and getting high off of 2Js, something. Like I was just doing it because I loved it.
Right.
And so like I said, I just stopped. Like I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. If I'm gonna do it, I gotta stop. And I just stopped. And the first two,
just cold turkey,
man.
Dang, gangster, man, gangster.
First 2 to maybe 4 or 5 days, I realized, like, afterwards, man, I just felt tired. I felt groggy, and I felt like it kind of felt like when you smoke a bunch the night before, and then you wake up a little more high, a little high still, and then you smoke a little bit, and you wake up a little more.
Gotcha.
That was at least my experience. And so that first few days, I was like, man, I just feel tired. I got low energy. And then after like a week, maybe 9 days, I could just like, I was like, whoa, I could wake up way earlier, easier. I could always wake up early, but it was a struggle. I had just more energy, and I realized that I had this kind of pent up energy where like I needed to do something with it.
Okay.
I needed to, whether that be cleaning, whether that be, hitting a few reps, whether that be, maybe a longer walk with my dog, maybe a jog with my dog, things like that. And I realized, like, man, like I had this pent up energy that was there the whole time. It's just, I was distracted by this other thing, or maybe content with not getting rid of it. And then I just kind of, that clicked with me. I was like, man, like this was a good decision. This is something I probably should have done a long time ago.
Got you.
And at least been more chill with it. Maybe not stop cold turkey, but been a lot more chill with it.
So you saying the moderation, it was just too heavy of the moderation in favor of smoking.
Yeah.
And you, to the point where life was affected. You were holding back your life, your desire, your passion because you got comfortable.
Yeah.
A quick win.
Exactly. To some extent. And so, I mean, yeah, it was heavy, man. I mean, I guess recently, like J's, just, I could probably go through an ounce in like 2 days.
Damn.
Easily. And that's, that started when I was young. I mean, the homies used to kick it
straight up
at the trap, not like a real trap, but just somewhere we could actually smoke. I mean,
you at the coast.
We would do, man, let's walk to the beach. Let's sit up in the trees. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I'm grateful I did that when I was young, just because,
of course, it
was an appreciation to some extent. But, I mean, just like now, I'm 23. Like I said, I started at least weekly, semi-weekly at like 14. That's almost 10 years of chief.
Wow.
Man. So it's
chief, man.
It's like now I'm glad to kind of put that behind me.
100%.
And it's not like I got to stop forever.
Right.
It's just like until I'm done with this thing. But I'm glad I did it.
There's worse things out there. Don't get me wrong. But it's just, I love the story of moderation, because you can have something like you said with social media or anything, alcohol, smoking, whatever someone's doing. You can have something, or it can have you, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I know. I've been.
And I was teetering on that edge.
Sorry. You know, I made it.
And I was teetering on that edge, man. And I'm just glad that it didn't capture me. And like I think you mentioned the other day, like you've had some cats that stop smoking green, and then they pick up the cigarettes because they love the motion, they love the smoke.
Straight up.
And I'm just glad that I don't have that desire. Like I because I was grown thinking cigarettes are gross. My mom used to smoke. I used to take her cigs and
so T, real quick, you that motion. So say like you were going to do that motion and it turned to a cigarette, you would be like,
nah.
Okay, I just wanted
the farthest I'll go is a blunt. Swisher, that's tobacco.
Swish.
But nah, dude, that's to me that's gross. Not knocking anybody who's hooked on it, but like that's just my personal. And then man, like my mom used to smoke, so I've always had this thing in me, like that's just not it.
Right.
So I used to take her cigs and just snap them, put them back in the box, so when she try and pull them out,
you a real
just be
one.
the butt.
You a real
And so
one.
she stopped because of that, actually. So
Shout
she
out.
saw how much it affected me, and I didn't
Affected
like
you,
it. So I was like, I appreciate that aspect of it.
You a
But,
real one, man.
yeah, man, no smoke, no nic, no vapes, nothing like that. I'm just
And you broke the habit. You're breaking the habit.
breaking the habit.
Breaking the
There's
habit.
some,
Always emotion.
there's some days where I'm like, it'd be nice. I know I can't because that would put my future in jeopardy, but still, it's like.
But you're a real one for noticing that. A lot of people don't
Yeah.
take notice of that omen of like, oh, I need to stop this.
Yeah, and like I said, it was a struggle to stop it. I've been trying to, but it's just I'm glad that I have a reason to now.
Real talk.
Sometimes all you need is a real reason.
Yeah. Put yourself in position to win and you realize what's really important.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Absolutely, man.
Well, T, we get into the end. We already crossing the hour,
Man.
10, hour, 20 minutes, man. We got to cut it out, bro.
Do it.
I appreciate
It's a pleasure, man. Thank you. Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it. Like I said, man, great setup. I'm happy to see you doing what you want.
Thank you.
I want to see the growth.
Yes.
If you want to have me back, I'll be happy, man.
Hey, we're going to have you back. You have my word to that. Handle that lineman school, and then we get you back in the summertime.
Sounds good.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Dude. World, like I said, gyms after gyms. Such a blessing having my guy Tryston Wolf on the set right here. We really chopped it up, got things done. Thank you for being on another episode of Garage Talks 5417. We love you guys, world. Go ahead and bless up. Till next time, we out of here.
Yep.